Good morning, guys. I'm here as an Arsenal fan on the Sun's Full Arsenal YouTube channel with Luke, who would have enjoyed the game yesterday more than myself at Wembley Stadium. It's another cup final for us. I'll say another one. It's our first one in about 6 years, and it didn't go to plan. I was there in 2018 when we played Man City in the Carabao final. We lost that one 3-0, and 6 years later, we've only gone and outdone that by, you know what I'm saying, conceding one less goal. So you know what? I'll actually let you kick off and tell me what you made of it, because I think my thoughts are pretty clear on it, but I'd be interested to see from a City fan, obviously, how you thought we were yesterday.
Yeah. Well, always a good day out at Wembley. If you win, anyway, it's a terrible one if you
You
lose,
know,
like you
see,
said. But what I'd say is, I think Arsenal, in the league, well, I'm sure we'll come on to it, but Arsenal in the league, obviously, quite a bit ahead, and you've been a better side than City this season. The table says that, but I don't know what Arsenal showed me in that game, to be honest. Other than maybe the first 5 minutes, that is the team they are. Do you know what I mean? If we played Cup Finals City recently. You're playing a team that are well up for it. United beat us in the FA Cup final. The year before, obviously, we beat them on the way to the treble. We lost to Palace last year. And this is with all due respect to Arsenal. I don't think they did anything more than either of those two sides. And obviously, that's why they lost the game. But I don't know what they showed us. Obviously, there was like a tactical element. Arsenal, like, we're kind of sitting back. City didn't really press that high, and you didn't really know what to do. And then I kind of felt at half time that nothing had really happened. City kind of knocked at the door a little bit, maybe the last 5 minutes of it. But for me, at half time, nothing had been put on the table really from either side. And then second half, it felt like we kind of just started slowly pulling you apart, and we get the 2 goals.
yeah, I mean, you kind of hit the nail on the head. I kind of watched the game and it was weird. It felt like a late Wenger era game where,
Yeah,
well, maybe in the second half at least. I think the first half, like you described, was quite tight. It was a lot more of an even game than what the second half seemed to be. I think the second half reminded me a lot of the late Wenger era where we play big sides and we'd almost feel blessed to have the ball in and around the other team's box, and I couldn't really understand how we got to this point with the players available. And I know, obviously, it's not ideal not having Eze that short notice before the game. Obviously, Man City had injuries as well, and we can obviously talk about the fact Man City had their backup goalkeeper in goal as well. So it's not really one where I can sit there and say, look, we lost because of this and that, because Man City went and did the same thing and had players out as well. For me, the main issue was just like quality. Just didn't seem to be much yesterday, to be honest. A lot of our bigger players we rely on just didn't really show us much. And yeah, I mean, we kind of just got taught a lesson, really. And I would like to hope, if we were to go on this season, because it looks like it's on the cards, if we were to go on and get ourselves into a Champions League final maybe, or find ourselves in an FA Cup final again, where the likelihood is probably play you again, that it wouldn't be that way. I'd like to think Arteta would learn, in terms of. I think Carragher put it perfectly. I think Arteta owes Kepa nothing. I think he owes us quite a lot for the amount of time and patience we've given Arteta. And I think, yeah, to play the backup keeper in that kind of cup final, maybe it's a respect thing with Pep. I don't know if Pep's going to play as backup keeper. I don't know. Maybe he's got too much respect for the guy. But for me, I don't know. I think he got it slightly wrong yesterday. But at the end of the day, it's one of those ones you can't predict a goalkeeper dropping the ball on the 60th minute. And the thing is, look, one thing with Arsenal is, and I'm sure you'd have been able to tell over this season, is that we are a defensive side. We're good at soaking up pressure, and I think for all of the pressure Man City had us under, I just feel like with the way we play, we could have seen out that pressure. And then that's kind of where I've seen Arsenal come alive this season, where we soak up all that pressure, and then it just takes one moment to switch a game. Maybe it be a corner, or maybe it be a counter attack or a set piece, or anything. But I think fumbling that ball at that moment in the game just completely put us on our arse. And then how long after that did you score? It
I
must,
think it was
must have
four or
been
five minutes after that. Yeah, I
4 or
think
5 minutes after. Yeah, so the game just went in the blink of an eye, and then
spot
it
on
was,
with
it
that.
was kind of
Arsenal
done
have
from
kind of
there.
gone for that, soak up the pressure. That's the way you play. City have always been a team under Pep anyway, where we're going to dominate the ball and create loads of chances. And it's clearly Arsenal aren't that team, but obviously you're winning games, so you're not going to be bothered by that. It's just a different play style. But yeah, I agree. I think, yeah, on the Kepa one, it's a bit of a difficult one because, like you said, you're not won a trophy for 6 years, so you want to just get it. You want to get it done. You want to get it over the line, but it is one of them where you can't. I think Arteta's damned if he does, damned if he doesn't, because as a City fan, I've been there before. We had Pantilimon in nets the whole year in 2013, and Mancini's about to go out the door, and we played Joe Hart in the final against Wigan, and then ultimately he couldn't quite reach the goal that went in, and we were almost blaming him for not playing the backup keeper in a sense. So I feel like, if you played Raya and he'd made the same mistake, everyone would. I'm not saying that would have happened. He could have easily just caught that or whatever. People would be saying the same thing. I feel like it's kind of, we're just dealing with what we've got because Kepa played and he messed up. And if he'd made a great save, everyone would have said what an amazing decision that was. That's why you do these things. And ultimately as well, for a backup keeper, I don't know what kind of message it sends to the rest of the squad. If I know he's messed that up, but at the end of the day, that was his trophy to mess up. Do you know what I mean? He's played, I'm pretty sure, most of the rounds up to now. Same with James Trafford. If James Trafford, as City fans were saying before the game, look, we know he's a good keeper, but if 5 minutes in James Trafford flaps at one of those shots and he concedes, that's football. What message does it send to the rest of your players when basically he's played all tournament and then he's not in? But then you could say, there's other players in the team that have played the early rounds and not got a position. So it is a tough one. What I'd ask is, in terms of the rest of the team, how do you feel about the fact that Arsenal didn't really kind of knock at the door or come at us until those 2 goals kind of went in, really?
It's just, I feel like weirdly, I'd almost say I feel like we knocked more before the 2 goals. I feel like actually afterwards it was just a case of whacking Noni on the pitch, him running at people and then hoping. Apart from that, I mean, yeah, even the Calafiori chance just kind of fell to him. The Gabriel Jesus header. I mean, again, I think that was good work from Noni. I just think everything was wrong with yesterday's performance, and it's the kind of performance I can't really put my finger on in any kind of department, because I haven't seen a performance like that from us all season. We've played Bayern Munich, the best team in Germany, battered them. We've played Atletico Madrid, battered them. We've played, we've played all sorts of good teams this season and put them to shame. And then to come up against a City team who, to be honest, at the moment, are not where they have been. They're not the City team that we've played over the last 6 years, where we'd go to City and it's like, oh my god, like just don't concede and we'll see what we can do. This is a Man City team that we put 5 past last season, albeit certain circumstances in X, Y, Z. But this isn't a Man City team that I feel like we have to fear anymore with where we've got ourselves to. And it was just like, it felt, like I said earlier, it felt like a late Wenger game where just having the ball in around the edge of the box, the City box, felt special. It felt like, oh my god, something might happen. Like, please, can this be the moment? And then, ultimately we just got absolutely turned over. It was just really embarrassing. And like I said, it didn't make sense to me. Nothing about it still really makes sense to me. How we turned up. I don't think it's a case of Arsenal and finals and X, Y, Z, because I've seen Arsenal turn up under Arteta with Aubameyang and that. We were insane against Man City in the semi-final, and that was a much better City team than the one now, in my opinion. And so he went on to win the final against Chelsea. So yeah, I wouldn't put it down to like a whole Arsenal in finals, blah, blah, blah. I just think it was just genuinely a terrible, terrible day at the office. But obviously we have to leave in the past now.
Are there going to be consequences of that further? Title race, obviously. Wouldn't say it's completely done, but obviously Arsenal have got the majority of the cards in hand. You're 6 points clear if we win our game in hand against Palace, which obviously, if we're going to have this conversation, you'd have to think we might do that. If we're going to be in a title race, if we don't win that game, it's completely done in my eyes. But yeah, 9 points at the moment. We've got a game in hand. We've got to play at the Etihad. How are you feeling about that? Because it's a big lead to have going into this break.
Yeah, well, it's an ideal lead to have, but I mean, the idea of going to the Etihad isn't ideal, but the Etihad one kind of almost, it comforts me a lot more than the idea of a cup final. I think the cup finals are, like I said, with the team in X, Y, Z. I think if against Man City in the league we go with a full strength team, I think with the way we defend, I think that game plays into our hands, because I think for the first time in my life, well, obviously cup finals aside, I think for the first time in a league game, I'm watching a game where Man City have to beat us. They haven't got a choice.
Yeah, you're starting the game winning with a draw, really, aren't you, with that?
So they're there. So it kind of plays into our hands from a counter-attacking perspective. Then again, the problem is I just don't think we're any good on the counter, to be honest. So the idea of being able to soak up pressure makes sense to me, but it's just a case of whether or not we can get a goal. I think if we can nick a goal and kind of just camp it out of the Etihad and not lose the game, I think we'd have done a great job. And I know the ideal thing would be to win, but I think, with City having to win that game, I just think it plays into our hands, because, the game will start cagey. see us soaking up a lot of pressure if we're on our game, and then it just takes one chance for us, and I think that's when heads go. But obviously, I can never call it because, like I said, we haven't seen us win at the Etihad since January 2015. So yeah, the Etihad's not a place. I've been there enough times now to know what happens. Even last season when I went, it was one of the most deflating things I've ever seen live in my life. And yeah, I wouldn't get my hopes up too high about that game. For me, it's more about making sure we do our jobs against the Bournemouths, the West Hams, the Crystal Palaces on the final day of the season. These are the games where I'm like, right, no slip ups. We're playing teams that are comfortably worse than us, and we're going to have a decent enough, strong enough side going into the run in. The City game for me is just don't lose, don't lose. And if we do lose, like it's not done, but it's still nice. So for me, the more important thing with like I said, that being the case, I mean, we even if we do lose the game, we'd still be 3 points clear. I think it's more a case for me of the smaller games,
Yeah.
but I don't know, man. It's a weird one because again, this team haven't really shown me yet, or this manager, that they know how to see this out. So I'm not gonna live off blind faith. I'd rather just wait and see what happens and see it out, man. See it out. Keep enjoying going. There's been a good feeling around going to games at the moment as well. So yeah, I think if we could just get that back on track, because yeah, to be honest, yesterday was a day to forget for us. Really, it was definitely a day to forget for us. So if you beat us on what is it, April 19th, win your game in hand, the gap will be 3 points. How confident are you that we'll crumble, or you'll, you know what I'm saying, pursue it and go on? How confident would you be from that game onwards with the 3 point gap that it could turn around and, you know what I'm saying, you end up winning another one?
Yeah, I think it's quite a weird situation to be in now because you've had a great season, you're clear in the league, and then you've just had a big, cannonball hit the boat basically. But now you just sat on the water for 2 weeks. You can't play a game. International break. Coming back, you got
Oh, I
Southampton.
forgot about that. Oh my god,
you
I
got
actually
you got a
completely
cup.
forgot.
You've got a cup game, so you've got pretty much 3 weeks before you play in the league, and you're going to just be sat there dwelling on it. So, yeah, that's a good position for City to be in. If you'd won that game, people be saying the same thing about City. But I think if we beat you in the game in hand, and sorry, if we win our game in hand and we beat you in the game at the Etihad, I think we've got a very good chance. I'd be confident City can get the job done, given that we're not going to have any other games than FA Cup games potentially. You're going to have quite a lot of Champions League games, big games. Could that mean you've got momentum to carry on to the weekend potentially? Could it mean you struggle a little bit with managing your players if you get injuries and stuff like that? Also potentially, you look at Man United this season, all they've done is play league games, and it's massively helped them. So if City can maybe get a bit of that advantage and be fresh for the weekend, I'd say City have got 8 games left. If we win all 8 games, I think we'll win the league. But I don't think we'll win all 8 games. I'm pretty convinced Arsenal will drop. You've done it all season, not to anywhere near the extent City have because you're ahead of us. But you've dropped points all season. There's no way you're going to win 7 games. If you lose to City, I doubt you're going to win 6 games with all the other competitions you're in as well. But
Yeah,
yeah, I think it's fair to say outside of the City game, you'll probably drop a few points. It's whether City can win 8 games, and I'm not sure we can do that. But if we did beat you, we've won the cup. I think there's a chance. If that did happen, theoretically, I think we win the league.
who's your main banana skin left in terms of fixtures? Is
I
it
don't think at
Chelsea?
this part of the season the banana skins exist. I think you make your own, and we made our own against Forest and against
Yeah,
West Ham. Do you know what I mean? We could easily go and beat Chelsea 3-0. We could go and lose 3-0. So yeah, I
that's
think
the
you
thing.
make your
Yeah,
own
no,
banana
yeah.
skins. I think every game's a banana skin at this point in the season. But um, yeah, if we win our games, I'm confident we can win the league.
God, yeah. Well, like, I don't even want to imagine that, to be honest. It's been a long old season for us, obviously, with all of the games we've played. And days like yesterday, even they just make me worry about this running. But luckily, like you mentioned, it is an international break now, so I get to relax for 2 weeks. um, see out the see out the international break, and then I mean, obviously, we'll have to find out the answers to all of these after. But in terms of in terms of the Carabao Cup, I mean that's done, isn't it? The quadruple. Well, we got our own quadruple on the cards. You might have heard about our quadruple that's still on the cards. Certain team might be going down. I might whack that in there. You know what I'm saying? Just substitute that in. But yeah, no. In terms of the actual quadruple itself, it's looking like it's off the cards, isn't it? But still think we've done all right up to this point, and we're still in the Champions League. Whether or not we win, that's another question with the teams on the other side of the tournament. But FA Cup's obviously the best cup we've got a chance of winning now. Who is it? You've got Liverpool, haven't you?
Liverpool at home, yeah. Liverpool at home.
Liverpool. That's a weird one.
I believe they've got
that.
a Champions League game pretty soon after. I want to say, I'm not sure. When's your Champions League game?
Our Champions League game, we're playing. So when is the FA Cup weekend? That FA Cup weekend is the weekend before the. Yes, okay, yeah, we're Saturday 8 p.m. So we are 4th of April we're playing, and then we play Lisbon 7th of April on the Tuesday.
So Liverpool have got, they could easily rotate, and to be fair, Liverpool won quite a handful of these cups lately, domestic cups, and I think maybe they might rotate in that game. So you'd like to think City can maybe have the upper hand, but yeah, we've beaten them twice this season. I'm quite confident now for that game after the Arsenal one, but we'll see.